Welcome to the February 15th, 2022 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast of what happened or what this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince. I can't wait till February 22nd, 2022. Yes, two.
Look up your YouTube poops, my friends. But, yeah, a lot of things happened this week and stuff that we never saw coming. So, that counting a Nintendo Direct first up. So we're of course going to address that, and we're going to split this up into two episodes, of course, to give it enough time. So Thursday will be the rest of Reactive, of course, but we will talk about this this Nintendo Direct because it was really interesting.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I don't normally get invested in Nintendo Directs, but this one had...
This is a good one.
4 things in particular that I was like, oh, like one of them on principle, like good for them, and 3 of them I was genuinely excited about.
Yeah, so we'll take it off the top right here. So, the first thing that they talked about right away, like there was a rumor that there was going to be a Fire Emblem announcement of sorts, and people were like hoping that it was a new Fire Emblem game, like a new proper one. But it was actually a Fire Emblem Warriors sequel. This one based off of the Three Houses storyline with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. So it's actually.
Do you
like,
also buy this game twice?
Yeah. Well, this is a more an action based.
Yeah, I know. It's a Warriors title. Yeah.
So. Actually, I really like the way that they do this because, like, it gives, like, you an alternate way to experience Fire Emblem. And Fire Emblem doesn't have an action franchise, really, so...
Yeah, no, Warriors is, like, I think... Like, I don't even know if they've done VNs. Isn't Fire Emblem always just one type of game? Like, the closest I can think of change is the new Switch one where there's social links involved, but... It's turn-based rock, paper, scissors combat, except for Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. So this will be good, and it'll only focus on the one game, which has a lot of story in it. So that's a really good thing, and it'll give people an opportunity that were big fans of that game to re-experience it, as well as people that may not be into Fire Emblem, the gameplay-wise, but maybe want to, dip their toe into it. So.
Yeah, why do we like Ike? Maybe we could find out.
Well, Ike's not in this one.
Oh, he's not in... Oh, well, the new one, okay, but is he in the older one?
Ike is in one of the older ones. Yeah, this is based off of three houses. So
well, no,
like
this one is, but isn't the first Warriors game, like, just various Fire Emblem?
Yeah,
I would expect Ike to be in there.
I'm pretty darn sure that Ike is in that one. That one's like a best of. So,
yeah, that's what I was expecting. I'm like, Ike's not in that, really?
No, he would be in that one.
Yeah.
Like Marth and Ike would definitely be in there. Just because,
yeah.
They're Smash Brothers.
Marth and Roy, they were like Fire Emblem 1 and 2.
And Roy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Fire Emblem for the GBA at least.
Okay.
Which is not the first Fire Emblem game, but it's the first one to come to the United States.
Oh yeah, like Shadow Dragon was a remake of the first Fire Emblem.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. That's the one with Marth.
Okay.
Yeah, Marth is like the original main character.
Gotcha.
And then Roy and Ike are favorites from that era.
Roy from GBA and Ike from GameCube.
Yeah, exactly. Next was this is actually kind of funny that they grouped these together, and I'm sure they did it on purpose. But Advance Wars 1 and 2. Reboot Camp. Fire Emblem and Advance Wars go hand in hand.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. The Advance Wars is less character focused and more focused on the nation or the squad.
Yeah, it's interesting because with Fire Emblem, you have your main commander character, but he is one personality of many on the battlefield. But in Advance Wars, your main general person, that's kind of the personality, but the units are all generic, no-name characters.
Yeah, and in fact, your units are expendable because they don't have anything behind them, and they don't gain levels.
They're like Warcraft characters, like Orc Soldier. Like, all right.
Yeah, exactly. So, Advance Wars is more about less about the story and more about like the actual tactics of it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Fire Emblem has an RPG bent to it, where all the characters actually matter.
Yeah, every playable character
unit,
is a character. Yeah.
You lose a character, yeah. Whereas Advance Wars is you lose a unit, not so bad, you'll get some more.
Yeah, you don't have to hard reset every time somebody dies. Like, it's just part of the game.
Yeah. Fire Emblem is more hardcore in that way. Advance Wars is a little bit more forgiving in that way. So, both of them have been around for about the same amount of time. I think Famicom Wars was the first one, but then Fire Emblem came out after that. But I am looking forward to this because the Advance Wars games were a lot of fun, and I never got a chance to play them, but I know a lot of people really love them.
Yeah, same. Like, I used to look over our friend Luminaire's shoulder back in, like, the high school cafeteria and watch him play Advance Wars. I was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really think it'll be a lot of fun. So, it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. So, I know that the they are adding some extra features where you can like even play as the bad guys in some versus modes, which is pretty cool. So I think that's pretty neat. One other thing that I wanted to mention was they reiterated that Getsuffunden is coming to Switch, and I don't know whether you remember me talking about this Getsuffunden.
I remember you talking about it, but I don't remember what it is. I recognize the name.
Getsuffunden is a Konami game that on the Famicom was made with the same kind of game mechanics and like I guess you could say engine for the time as the original Ninja Turtles game.
Okay.
So it has some kind of notoriety because it's an action game that behaves like Ninja Turtles, but is actually a much better game because it had like more time in the oven. So like the mechanics aren't like all fucked.
The Technodrome in Getsuffunden isn't nearly as punishing.
That's what I mean. Turtles like is likable in some ways. Like it has like a really good soundtrack and like the action is pretty fun, but it's kind of unwieldy. Like it's a little wonky.
Yeah, it's janky and the enemies just keep coming and shit's broken. But like it's pretty ambitious though. You get underwater levels. You drive around in the overworld to get into particular levels in the sewer. Like it's interesting.
Exactly. So it has some really bad platforming though. And but there was another game that came out after it in Japan only called Getsuffunden that is Japanese horror themed. So it has like joggies and other like Japanese demons and stuff like that in it, and it's not Castlevania. Like it's distinctly Japanese, like
traditional Japanese urban legends horror. And stuff.
Yeah,
like the demons that hold the candles as they walk around.
I don't know whether it's like the Chinese ghosts like that, but like it's kind of similar to that.
Was that Chinese? Like I remember the Chinese vampires being those hopping ones.
Oh yeah. Maybe you're right. Getsuffunden, they came out with like a roguelike sequel. They haven't made many references to it, but Getsuffunden like kind of gets included with some Castlevania stuff sometimes. Like they added the character in the like Harmony of Despair game, the HD like one where you're all going around the map trying to get to the bad guy.
Okay.
The multiplayer one.
That was Harmony of Despair?
Harmony of Despair HD, yeah.
Okay. That was like the 4-player one?
That's the 4-player one, yeah.
Okay.
The PS3, Xbox 360 one. And then they also added Getsuffunden to Odomadius Gorgeous, like the second one. So the one that made it to the United States as DLC. But they never really like made a sequel or they barely like acknowledged Getsuffunden as like a character or game in America other than those like small references. they finally gave Getsuffunden a sequel, which I think was out on early access on Steam, but they finally released it on Switch with this Nintendo Direct, and it's like a roguelike kind of game. I haven't played it yet, but I did buy it because, like, if you get like the deluxe version of it, you do get a official translated version of the Famicom game, and I just eat that kind of shit up. I'm a big Konami fan of that era, so like I already have like the Famicom copy of that game, but like just the fact that like Konami is putting the effort to translating some of their older Famicom games that never made it over officially.
Yeah, that's actually significant.
It's pretty cool. I mean, they did that to Kid Dracula.
Yep.
With the Castlevania collection. So I was really happy about that, and I was very, very thankful. In fact, they really have done it to a number of their games in recent years. Dracula, Rondo Blood, and things like that as well. So they really have stepped up in that terms. They're not making many new games, but like when they have been dipping their toes into the more obscure older stuff and giving like big fans like me something to latch onto, and I definitely like that. I mean, there have been a bunch of companies that have gone back and translated like a whole bunch of their older stuff. Like Technos has been really good about it, like really good. In fact, I think they've translated every older Kunio-kun game there has been at this point. So that's really impressive. Like considering that a lot of those older games are RPGs too. Like they went back and did it. I would really love if Konami went back and came out with maybe like a Goemon collection and then like gave us official translations of all those like Super Famicom Goemon games.
Yeah, we've talked
really
about
cool.
Goemon a while back, but like, yeah, I don't know how many people realize that there's more than like
There's a lot of
one or two Yeah, I think there's 20 plus. Like there's a lot.
Yeah, there's what about 4 for the Famicom alone? There's 4 for the Super Nintendo, and only one of them came out here.
Yeah.
Legend of the Mystical Ninja. 2 for the N64, which we got both of.
Yep. And I think there was at least one for the PS1, right?
Correct, and a PS2 game, I think.
PS2, damn.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of portable games that we're missing. Like one Game Boy Color, one Game Boy game did come over here, but I don't. I think there's more than just that. But yeah, Konami has a lot to mine because they made some really great stuff in that era that still didn't even make it over. I mean, there's Crisis Force as well, which is a really good shmup.
Well, you know what's really glaring is the millions of ports. Just pick the one you like the most of Snatcher.
Yeah,
like we got it back in the 90s for a system that nobody owned, but like it was on every system in Japan, and we actually got the TurboGrafx one as part of the TurboGrafx Mini, but it wasn't translated. It's like, give us a chance, man.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do like a Snatcher Police Knots collection, because that would sell hotcakes. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, I don't know. But moving on, I was happy about that, so I bought that right away when it came up on the store. No Man's Sky is coming to the Switch, and No Man's Sky is no longer the butt monkey of a lot of jokes.
Yeah, it's apparently become legitimately good. Like, the developers really put in the work.
Yeah,
That's like one of the worst launches I've seen in a while, including Cyberpunk. But they really stepped up.
The funny thing is, like, there was like an old interview going on with one of the lead developers where they asked him about like all the features that this game was going to have, and he like confirmed it all. And then like people just took it for like that's when it would what this game would have by its release date. And so like everybody was calling him a liar and all this other stuff, and he's made good on all of it. Like all the stuff that he said was going to be in the game is basically in it now. Which is fair for people to call them out on, because they weren't good at communicating the fact that this was going to be like a service game.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't established like that at all. It was just like, this game's going to be crazy, and it came out like, even like considering it was a launch version, it was very half-baked.
Yeah, like there was not a lot to do when the game came out. There was just like a lot of potential. And now there's just tons of stuff to do. Like it's a very there are different races that you could talk to, and all kinds of different things you could do, all kinds of missions that you could go on, and it's coming to the Switch. So and they continue to add to it all the time. So it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy for them on that, and it's coming to the Switch, so that's great. Here's a really great surprise: Mario Strikers Battle League. This is the third Mario Strikers game. So.
Oh yeah, because there was charged for the Wii, but I never really got into it, but I loved the vibe, and I really like. I don't know how many people remember this. It's been a while because it's a Wii game, but oh my god, the music in that game is spectacular.
Yeah, and the Mario Strikers games have always been a lot of fun. I like arcadey soccer games quite a bit, and Mario Strikers fits right in. I think this will be a really good thing, and I think it is being made by Next Level again, so it'll be good. The gimmick in this is that you can wear different like equipment to affect each individual's stats.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can really customize your team in this, which is pretty cool. I will definitely be buying that when that comes out, because that's just a kind of game that anybody can play, pick up and play, and have a lot of fun with.
Yeah, I'm more of a tennis guy, but like my brother had Strikers Charged, and that's a cool game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people just like soccer because it's easy to understand. Just get the ball in the goal. Come on.
Pretty much, yeah. And like, there's only like 3 characters. Well, there's a little more than that, but there's like a few characters per team. It's pretty simplified. It's like NBA Jam. You know, it's like a basic team size, but like that's what makes it more accessible and fun.
Exactly. Moving on from that, Splatoon 3 was another big announcement. So Splatoon 3 has been puttering around, like people have been they have been talking about that. It's already been announced, but it was just something cool to see.
Same for Advance Wars, really. Like, that has been mentioned. It's just like, we're still doing it.
Exactly. But Splatoon 3 just kind of showed off all the like the different enemies that you'll be able to face, and all the different like, it looks like you can do some kind of like summoning in it, which is kind of neat.
You summon just a bloober from Mario, just falls in the sky.
Yeah, but it's they're trying something different, which is I think appreciated, because you can't just make the same game over and over again, for sure.
Unless it's Star Fox.
Disney Speedstorm, so you know, that just kind of looked like a Disney kart game. You know, it looks fine, you know. I don't really have much to talk about with that. But the next game was Star Wars The Force Unleashed. They are like remastering that, but here's the kicker. It's like the Wii version of Star Wars.
I was going to mention that even in general, Star Wars Force Unleashed is from that era. Like, finally, the Switch is getting that game. It's just like, I know this is later on your list, but like Portal, like, did you not have a chance to play Portal yet?
Yeah, I know. This is only for like people that are nostalgic for this game, because like there are other games that have done what this game does better.
I will grant them this, though. If Portal makes liberal use of the Joy-Cons, the aiming and stuff, I could see that being a different way of playing the game. I'll grant them that, at least.
Well, we'll get to that.
Same goes for Force Unleashed. Like, but playing it with the Wiimote, you got a lightsaber.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like,
no,
so like,
that was
I get
actually
that,
one of the things they were touting, that it uses the Wii remote controls.
Yeah, because the Wii version of the game, fucking really, but like the Wii remote controls, that does make sense.
Yeah, if you pick it.
I can't wait to play as The Apprentice. I know his name is Starkiller, but like, I'm sorry, man. I will always know him as The Apprentice because Soul Calibur 4 came out before he got a name. He's The Apprentice. I don't know. You figure it out.
And then after that, they talked about the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection, which is pretty a cool thing for them to put on the Switch.
Yeah.
So this is the Ezio trilogy, which is the Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy.
The original one was Altair, and even though that's a lot of the look for Assassin's Creed, like Assassin's Creed's fans are like, yeah, that one doesn't hold up as well.
Yeah, the first game, even when it came out, was considered pretty bare bones. Like they created something that like the backbone for something that they couldn't really elaborate on because it was just so complex. So they only had a very few types of mission types in that first game, but they had like a wide world where you could do very little in.
Yeah.
So the everybody agrees that like where Assassin's Creed really begins is with the second game, and the whole trilogy is really good. Apparently, the second game is really is one of the best games too. What is it? One of them's Brotherhood, and the other one is
that I don't remember.
Yeah,
does it even have a subtitle? Is it just Assassin's Creed 2?
There's Assassin's Creed 2.
There's certainly Brotherhood, but I don't know. I never followed the series. The only thing I really hear about the series is that Black Flag is the one to play.
Well, that's the fourth game.
Yeah, I know that's later. 2 is apparently good, but Black Flag is like where it's at, I guess.
Yeah, but that game is like even special in the series. Like it's kind of off on its own kind of thing. But yeah, it's Brotherhood and then Bloodlines. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bloodlines. Bloodlines and Brotherhood, yeah.
So it's in universe with Vampire the Masquerade.
Exactly, and also Castlevania Bloodlines.
How did I not go to that first?
But yeah, Assassin's Creed is Oh no, it's Brotherhood and Revelations. I'm sorry, the Revelations is the third one.
So what's Bloodlines?
Bloodlines is like one of the mobile or the portable spin-offs.
I forgot about that. Yeah, there were just straight up like games in the series that are portable.
So it goes to Assassin's Creed 1, then 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and then 3, and then 4.
Wow, I can't believe Revelations has a tie-in with every movie sequel ever made.
And then Rogue, and then Unity, Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. The 2 is really fondly remembered. So much so that it completely supplanted the series that it really spun off from, which was Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool that that's happening. So I think that's a lot of fun. And then let me see here. There's also so I forgot about this Front Mission remakes.
I think this was particularly significant because didn't we never get I never followed Front Mission, but didn't we never get 2?
So we got 1 as a remake on the original DS that sold very poorly, and they are remaking that into a 2.5D game, looks like, and it looks really good. And then they're remaking 2, which we never got at all.
Yeah, but we did get 4 or something crazy.
We got 3 on the PS1? Is that right?
I don't know. I never got into the mech games. I only relatively recently gotten into Armored Core, so I got nothing for Front Mission.
Yeah, so it's a mech tactics game. Okay. Let me see here. The first one was remade on the original DS. I have that game. 2 was never remade. and that was originally on the PlayStation 1. Front Mission 3 actually came out on the PlayStation 1 in the United States, so we did get that one. We got 4 in the United States, which was on the PS2, so we only got one much later.
We just never got
3 and 4, and then we didn't get any of the others. 5 never came out in the United States either, so that one never got officially translated. That one was fan translated. So, they're making up for lost time. I mean, 2 is apparently one of the best in the series, I believe. So, this was well received by a lot of people, and
I saw hype about it when the Nintendo Direct was happening. Like, oh, Front Mission. Like, I don't have like a horse in that race, but that's pretty cool that we're getting like this lost title.
Yeah, in fact, there was some really good announcements by Square Enix. We'll get to those. Let me just get there. Chrono Cross, Radical Dreamers Edition. This is really exciting.
I mean, you called Chrono Cross a mile away, but Radical Dreamers, damn, like that's one of the, like I said, there were 4 things that excited me. This is one of them. Not even the Chrono Cross remake, though that's pretty cool, but Radical Dreamers.
Yeah, so this is kind of like along the lines of Getsuffunden, but like more significant because Chrono Cross is like,
well, that's the thing. This was like a secret entry in the Chrono Trigger series, and everybody and their mother loves Chrono Trigger, and then we just didn't get Radical Dreamers, probably because, let's face it, it would not have been well received because it's like a VN.
Yeah.
But like, oh man, it's coming.
So what they're doing with Chrono Cross is they're giving it the same kind of treatment they did with Final Fantasy VIII on the Switch, which is that they're kind of like up-resing the character models, and like up-resing the background. So they're giving it like a full kind of remake treatment without like
remaster kind of,
or more like a remaster. Yeah, they're touching it up.
It's cleaned up Chrono Cross.
Yeah,
fair enough. So like I don't really have like a need to get that except for Radical Dreamers.
Yeah. Well, they're also including Radical Dreamers for the people that don't know what that is. So Radical Dreamers came out on like the
was it Super Famicom? Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
I think I'm pretty sure it came out on the Satellaview,
That's
which
ridiculous.
is like a satellite-based
like a sort of online thing for the Super Famicom.
Yeah, it was kind of like the Sega Channel here, like it was kind of similar to that. But like they had like exclusive games on it that you could only play over the Satellaview, and they had a visual novel sequel to Chrono Trigger on it. That was basically the prototype version of Chrono Cross. It had a lot of the similar themes in it, if not like similar kind of endings, but it featured the characters from Chrono Trigger rather than original characters like in Chrono Cross.
Yeah. And speaking of similar themes, I'm using the word differently here, but I saw clips of that game. I mean, it's text, but when you hear the music in the background, it was surreal because it was like
the same music,
16-bit versions of like the PS1 music. I'm like, what? So I'm hearing like it's almost like a demake of the Chrono Cross soundtrack, except it's, of course, the reverse. The Chrono Cross soundtrack like is a remake of Radical Dreamers.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Again, this is an old game that got a modern localization, which I did not expect.
Yeah, this is something I'd only vaguely heard about in college. Like, do you know what Radical Dreamers is? And I didn't really. Like, I didn't even know it was a VN until relatively recently. It's just like this secret game that like it's somehow related to Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Yeah, and it kind of has its own. It's like a choose your own adventure kind of.
It's
thing.
that kind of VN. Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like, this is such a stupid comparison because if you don't know this, you won't know the other one. But like the Silent Hill play novel.
Yeah.
Do you want to follow the person? Do you want to go a different way? It really is old school VN.
Yeah, but that works in a game where you have time travel and things like that. So
sure.
That's really cool. Because I never expected them to acknowledge that game because it is basically a prototype for a like greater work.
Well, I more didn't expect them to have it. I just figured they would let people fans translate it, and they're like, we can't legally release it because we don't have it. But I guess they do.
Yeah, Square Enix has some really good stuff still ahead in this particular Nintendo Direct, and I want to get to that. But yeah, that Chrono Cross was really, really cool, and I definitely want to get this because I've never played Chrono Cross. So
yeah, well, again, bringing up Luminaire, I watched him play in college. The battle system definitely is different, and I could see why people got frustrated, especially because I don't think you can like max everybody in a single playthrough, but it's a very interesting story. It's clever with its many characters, and the Yasunori Mitsuda's Keltotropic music is just amazing.
Moving on, Kirby and the Forgotten Land also like had some really nice iconography, like kind of following it after the trailer that they had for it, because this game of course has been long since been announced, but what they did with Kirby in this game is a lot of fun. So not only can he get powers from like enemies, but he can get powers from basically anything.
Oh, did you see the memes that existed? Like, 1.5 seconds after that was announced, it's Kirby amazing. Like it's just a pink covering with eyes over like insert object here, like over a car and shit. People were just doing everything.
Well, the car was the example.
Then we'll just other stuff. Then it's just like this ridiculous Kirby just taking the shape of like stuff.
So in the game, Kirby just like assumes the powers of all kinds of things around him, including refrigerators, cars.
Yeah, it makes me think of Mario Odyssey. Just throw your cap on something and see what happens.
So the game does remind me a lot of Super Mario 3D World or Mario Odyssey, kind of like a combination of the two in terms of it like 3D engine. But I am really excited for it because this looks like a really fun Kirby game. It just looks like
you know what I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
You know how the final boss, like the true final boss of every Kirby game, is some fucked up Eldritch horror?
Yeah, it's always some kind of Cthulhu kind of thing.
So I want to see this game.
It's just humanity. You have to fight humanity and gather their powers of
Why not? No, you're not fighting humanity because Earth is fucking dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what was it, Frozen Star or Freezing Star or something? And all the enemies on it were just like wind up robots and shit, and you're like,
This game very obviously takes place on an abandoned Earth.
Yeah.
So, like it has like abandoned theme parks and all kinds of.
No, you know what the big reveal is going to be. This is the gameplay that the opening movie of Smash Ultimate teased but never delivered on.
Hell yeah!
Like this is it. This is the Smash game that's secretly like it's not a Smash game, but it is. And then by the end of the game, you've saved Mario and all the other Nintendo characters. And Bayonetta and Cloud somehow.
But yeah, no, this looks like to be a really fun Kirby game. I don't think they've ever pumped this much money into a Kirby game. Like, this is like a very high budget Kirby game. I like even Kirby 64, which is probably like
that was ambitious for the time.
Yeah.
And that final boss, by the way, that's the only Kirby game I've ever played to the end. That final boss was like, well, it was kind of creepy. But that music, holy shit, boy, is that different from the whole soundtrack.
I really like the minigame collection games, like Superstar and like Superstar DX and all them. But this game just looks like a lot of fun, and I can't wait for it. Mlb the Show 22, which is really funny because that's a Sony property.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have much to talk about there. But this was a surprise. Klonoa Fantasy Revelry series.
Yeah, so, it's a apparently it's a remaster of the Wii remake of Klonoa, because Klonoa was originally a PS1 title, but it was remade for the Wii, and that's the version I have because PS1 games like version. The original version's untouchable unless you buy it on the PS Store, which I did. For like a few bucks. But yeah, like, so this remaster, like the Wii remake is remastered, I believe. So now you can access that. And I think it also has Klonoa 2, which apparently it's a full remake of 2, and 2 was originally a PS2 game.
Yeah, in fact, 2 is like probably considered the best game in the series. So
the best. There's 2. Was there a portable title?
Side games.
Yeah. Okay.
Bunch of side games. Bunch of like Wonder Swan and Game Boy.
Oh yeah, fucking weird,
stuff.
Man. Speaking of which, like they released a Neo Geo Pocket Color collection. When are they going to release a Wonder Swan collection, including Choaniki RPG?
Well, there are already 2 Wonder Swan games on the Switch, Lotus.
Yeah, that's actually insane. Is one of them Clock Tower? Like, they're never going to release Super Famicom Clock Tower, but they'll totally do the Wonder Swan Clock Tower.
What's funny is they're the 2 most prominent fan-made games that were for the Wonder Swan are on the Switch.
That's ridiculous.
They're not even official Wonder Swan games. Crimson Sin and Crimson Sin and Judgment Silver Sword. Yeah.
All right.
Included with Escatos.
That's so silly.
So, yeah. Moving on from that, this is really surprising. Portal Companion Collection, Portal 1
Portal
and 2.
1 and 2, yeah.
First Valve games on the Switch. Crazy. I don't know what the impetus is, but like, if you're gonna release a couple games on the Switch, the Portal games are definitely.
Yeah, and I will grant this.
Up there.
Portal 2 was interesting on the PS3 because it made use of the Move controller, so maybe they can take that for the Joy-Con.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I think they just maybe want to return back to Portal. I don't know. I mean, they certainly have the most iconic characters around with GLaDOS, so
yeah, which is pretty funny because you like never really see characters in that game like you kind of see GLaDOS and Whitley.
Yeah.
And yet they're still like so iconic.
Yeah, I mean, we also kind of forget how old it is, even though it's so phenomenal. Like, both those games are great.
Yeah, Portal 1 was a throwaway game that came with Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life 2.
The orange box. Yeah.
And Portal 2 was a bigger deal. It was its own game, but it's still in the PS3 era.
Well, Portal 2 also has like a lot of stuff, like the multiplayer mode is completely on its own,
and it's amazing.
It's one of the best multiplayer games I've ever played. It's a lot of fun. It's up there with like It Takes Two with
yeah, you really need to be in sync with each other to get Portal 2 to work.
Yeah, no, Portal 2 is a really great game. I really enjoyed playing that with my friend at the time. So, and it like I said, it has its own set of levels. So, I think the PS3 still has the most full-featured, most levels of any other version of Portal 2, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. So, like, the Switch, hopefully it'll take that version, because if not, then, like, what are you even doing?
Yeah, because, like, they included PlayStation Move stuff in that game.
You could twist stuff around, yeah.
Yeah. So, let's move on from that. Like I said, Square Enix had another game that was...
this one is probably... This, like, ties with my biggest hype. I mentioned 4 things. This is number 2, and this is way up there.
This is a big deal. So might be one of their best Super Nintendo games that they didn't officially translate.
Yeah, this is a remake, I think, though.
It is, but it has all the original stuff in it. It's called Live Alive.
Is it Live Alive? I always forget how it is.
Yeah, no, they officially said it. I believe
okay, because because the thing is, live and live, like they're, how do you pronounce it? But in Japanese, there's only one way to go, and I just don't know what it is.
I think it's a play on words, and it's supposed to be like live a life.
Sure.
But it is spelled live, live.
Yeah, but it's a super creative game because it's like 7 or 8 characters, different stories that you don't really realize at first, but they kind of converge over time, even though they're in different eras and stuff like that. So it's almost like you're playing a bunch of separate games, but then you like are reminded that it's one big game. It's a very clever concept, especially of that era.
Yeah, and then they eventually kind of make better on that with like the Saga games later. Like they kind of like do a similar thing
Sure.
with having like like Octopath Traveler does the same kind of thing. But
It does, but Octopath Traveler kind of delivered that in a mediocre way, because like the combinations that you use don't really matter. You just kind of run through everyone's story.
but yeah, this is really really awesome. It's just this has always been a fan favorite. It's one of those games that like fans translated a long time ago, had like a shady like fan translation that wasn't very good, but like people lived with kind of thing.
The Duang subs of Live Alive.
Yeah, it's just like you take what you can get kind of thing. But yeah, this is gonna be really good. We're gonna officially get a translation of this, and Square's been actually doing this a lot. They added the final character to Saga Frontier.
Yep. That's amazing.
They've done a lot of things. They did Legend of Mana. They've done
Trials of Mana.
Yeah, Trials of Mana. They translated. I'm trying to think. Did they translated Romancing Saga 2 and 3, which we never got. Yeah, so they've been mining a lot of their older crap. Not crap, but like good stuff that like they never capitalized on. And this is gonna be really good. I mean, this is I can't tell people how lucky they are that the Switch era is here, because there are so many games from my childhood and my teenage years that we would have killed to have that are like finally getting their English translations and English releases with like with cleaned up
like
graphics.
Officially too.
Yeah, like better controls, like better saving capabilities, like
yep.
like better design choices in general, and it's just gonna look beautiful. So I'm really excited for this. It's really really awesome that they did this. I was surprised. Like nobody thought that this game was coming. Like I don't know anybody who thought that this was gonna get an official remake. So I'm really excited. It's just really cool what they did here. Moving on from that, this is way too long. They should have did this a long time ago. But Nintendo Switch Sports.
Yeah, that's like, it's one of those like of course kind of things.
Yeah. They should have done it a long time ago. It's kind of a combination of kind of all the different
Wii Sports and Wii Resort.
Yeah, exactly. It has like the sword fighting from Resort. It has badminton, tennis,
boxing.
I don't know whether it does have boxing.
Boxing was like the standout thing in Wii Sports.
Yeah, let me look at it. I forget what games are on it. I honestly, volleyball, badminton, sword fighting. Yeah, it's not what you think. It has bowling in it. I know that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, let me look at this. Soccer.
Okay.
Yeah. I got
move over, Mario Strikers.
Yeah, and it doesn't have Mii's. It has like new characters that you can like.
Well, would kind of have to at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, volleyball.
Yeah, a lot of the charm of Wii Sports was putting yourself kind of into the game with that minimalistic.
The Mii's made it.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that, but I mean, this isn't going to be a game I pick up because at this point, like that's old news for me. But this is a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Obviously, they should have just included this on every Switch, like at launch, like just to have it. But yeah, there you go. New Taiko Drum Master game, Taiko no Tatsujin, which with that name, geez, they didn't even change it to Taiko Drum Master.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, it's
I
Taiko
can't play
no
this. I
Tatsujin.
only collect the Drum Master series. What is this Tatsujin side game?
Yeah. Yeah, nothing to say about that. I mean, Taiko Drum Master, Taiko no Tatsujin is just fun, pure fun. If you've played Donkey Konga, that is kind of a spin-off of that. So, but yeah, a lot of fun rhythm game. Triangle Strategy. There's a new demo out. People that are going to be a fan of that are going to be all over that. They also did kind of like a reintroduction of the Cuphead Delicious Last Course. They gave some gameplay of the girl. What's her name?
The trophy.
I forget her name. You can play as her now.
Yeah, but that was the other thing I was hyped for, was just like the reminder of the Cuphead DLC. I think they gave like a release month. It was like June or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm excited about that. Hopefully when the DLC comes out, they'll finally sell it physically just as a complete package. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I love Cuphead.
I
haven't
beaten that
it
game,
yet.
man. It was amazing.
I haven't beaten it yet, but I absolutely love everything about it.
You gotta keep playing it just to see what the hell the spectacle is for every single boss level.
Yeah, you know what? It's not about like, you know how it is with me. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just like keep getting distracted.
Keep
There's
playing
just so
it
much
to watch
do.
more cartoons.
Yeah, no, I love it all. I'm really excited. So,
and just want to throw this one out there. But the last thing I was going to mention that I was excited about, like just on principle, is they're making a 5th Xenoblade Chronicles game called Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
1x2 Torna, which is an expansion to X to be fair, or expansion to 2 to be fair, and 3.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. So that was like the final announcement. So yeah, that was really exciting. I mean, they haven't done a port of Chronicles X yet, which I'm still surprised about.
Yeah, could we please like not have to kill off like a quarter of our Wii U by downloading the high-res texture pack?
Yeah, and maybe they can reinstate the boob slider.
Yeah, that'll be the real icing on the cake. Finally, I can adjust the little girl's boobs and fucking Chronicles. God. I've been waiting years for this.
How embarrassing.
Well, I remember saying
I'm just embarrassed that was even a discussion point.
No, I was gonna say like we brought this up years ago on this podcast where I had said like on one hand fuck censorship, but on the other hand that is not the hill I'm gonna die on. Like, Can you imagine like, it's in the newspapers about me. He lost his career, but he stood by what he believed in. What did he believe in? Like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not about to defend any of that. I look. I am not an extremist with things. Like I think there should be shades of gray.
It's very 90s. Like, let's just adjust the tits on a girl, but like, and it's a little kid. Like, it's outdated and it's fucking creepy.
Well, Japan.
Yeah. No, I know, but like they've also like lived the past several decades. You'd think shit would change a little bit.
It's kind of a thing over there. I don't know what that is, where that's mainstream and that's okay, but
on a Nintendo console.
Yeah, the whole lolly thing is beyond me. I don't get it. Adults are just fine for me, thanks. Anyway, so let me see. Metroid Dread is getting an easy mode and a super hard mode all at the same time.
Is the easy mode the one that tells that God of War dev where the secret walls are?
No, like the easy mode, I think, like I don't know what the easy mode does, but I know what the hard mode does is like anytime you get hit, you get a game over.
that honestly, that kind of sucks a bit of the tension out of the stalker insta-kill monsters. I guess they still stalk you, but like they were scary because they insta-killed you.
Yeah, it's true. Everything insta-kills you. But it's just extra modes.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like The Last of Us. Like, if you die, you're just permanently dead. Your whole save file is deleted. But like, you don't have to play that. It's just for fun.
This was a big surprise. Not one, but two Earthbound games at once. So that's
Oh yeah,
great.
Beginnings.
Yeah, Beginnings is coming to the NES app, and the Earthbound proper is coming.
I saw somebody playing a little bit of Beginnings. They posted a tiny little clip on Twitter. That fucking encounter rate. Like,
oh, it's ridiculous.
Move over, Skies of Arcadia. Jesus
it's always
Christ.
been a problem. In fact, when that game originally got its like unofficial
that is excruciating.
Like somebody found like the prototype for Earthbound Beginnings that never got officially released at the time. They added like an easy ring because like the game is so goddamn hard.
It's just like you can't go 5 feet without fighting something. It's like a slow turn-based RPG. Well, Skies was too, but oh, come on.
Even the Super Nintendo Earthbound has
that was pretty
damn
rough
high
too.
Encounter rate. But it's
although at least Super Nintendo Earthbound though, like you could see the shit on the overworld. It wasn't like random encounters. And in Beginnings, it's just like, whoops, another fight, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. But I think nobody was really expecting Earthbound, so
so now we've gotten Earthbound 0, we've gotten Earthbound Beginnings, we got
Still
Earthbound
3.
Mother 3 ain't happening.
Well, we don't have a GBA, function yet in a GBA app in this Switch. I think that's coming. I mean, the N64 one is here and they're adding games to it. I think this might be the last hurrah for the NES and Super NES apps because other than like Square Enix games,
I was just gonna say Chrono Trigger.
Well, yeah, Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 are coming on for the Pixel Remaster games. So those will be soon on the Switch. And like all of their big games from the Super Nintendo era, except for Chrono Trigger. It is kind of funny that Chrono Trigger, out of Chrono Cross, is getting a Switch port before Chrono Trigger is, which is kind of funny. Because considering how popular Chrono Trigger is, and especially recently with the kind of recognition it's been getting, several outlets have called it the best RPG of all time.
Yeah, and not only that, but like Chrono Cross was a PS1 game, and Chrono Trigger was on Nintendo twice already.
Yeah, and then SNES, yeah.
Yeah, SNES and DS.
And DS, yeah. The last time it was re-released was Steam, and that is actually the definitive version as of right now.
Yeah, the DS version has a little more content, I think, but Steam has the old school SNES, like, more crisp visuals.
And it has all the content from the DS.
Does it? I did
it
like
does.
I thought the DS one had like some sort of bestiary or something that I don't think the Steam version has. Although Steam does have,
sure the Steam version has that.
Does it? Like, Steam does have the extra like gameplay mission stuff. I know that.
I know it has some of the at least the enhancements of the PlayStation 1 version, but without the load times.
Yeah, the PS1 version, like, at least you can get it. But that the load times are pretty rough.
But yeah,
it's the cheapest version of the game you could get for like over a decade until the Steam version came out. Well, I mean, PS1 version is probably still cheaper, but you don't want the PS1 version.
But my point is that people were complaining about the Super Nintendo and NES apps, and there's really not much you're missing, because a lot of that stuff that you always wished was in there is on the Switch in other forms. Like Castlevania and Contra already have their own collections on the system. Like all the ones that you wanted to play from that era are already accessible. The Genesis just got on there, so we're still waiting for more titles to be added to that. But like, I mean, what do you want on the NES that you don't have access to? I mean, you have all the Mega Man games are available on the Switch via the Mega Man collections, and the Mega Man X collections. like, what do you like? I can't fathom, other than like some of the Square Enix games.
Punch Out with Mike Tyson.
Other than licensed stuff, obviously.
Yeah, well, I was gonna mention for real, like, licensed stuff, like Batman Sunsoft, like, it's not happening.
I mean, even there are some pretty darn obscure games on those apps right now that normally wouldn't be on there. I mean, like, you have Breath of Fire 1 and 2 on the Super Nintendo one. There's like a lot of really all the Nintendo stuff that you could ever want are on there. Like Kirby, I think Kirby's Dream Land 3 is on there. Like that's a pretty obscure game. I think is Mario RPG on there? Pretty sure they have almost everything.
I don't remember. I know Mario RPG was a weird one because it's on the SNES Classic, and it's like, well, why can't you put it on the store, like Earthbound? Like, Earthbound just made it there, but it was
Super
like,
Mario
what?
RPG was a collaboration with Square Enix, so
Yeah.
like I remember it being on the Wii Virtual Console, and it was on the Super NES Classic Edition. I guess it's not on there.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It was on SNES Classic, so like, why can't you put it on the Nintendo store?
Yeah, I guess they got to make a specific deal for each instance.
Yeah.
Because there are characters that were made by Square Enix in there, like, Gino and Malo and all that.
Well, basically, I was going to say basically the entire game that is not Mario and Peach and Toad.
Yeah. But, I mean, almost everything else is in that thing, that you could ever want. So, I don't know why people are complaining. And the N64 one, honestly, already has like almost everything you could ever want as well in it, because the N64, let's face it, like only really first party games were really big standouts on
Well, yeah,
the
but
N64.
the thing is, though, it doesn't have controller pack support, which means that it can't it can't save a file on the best game, Quest 64.
I'm just gonna ignore that. And
it also can't save your additional costume data for Castlevania 64.
There is one final thing that I wanted to talk about from this presentation that I thought was really a lot of fun. The Mario Kart 8 booster course pass DLC.
Yeah, this was ridiculous. It was like $25 for like 48 courses, like a bunch of classic courses.
Not only it was 48 courses, which is a whole nother game's worth of courses.
I was gonna say, well, that's like, depending on the era, that's multiple games worth of courses.
Multiple games worth of courses. So they're basically, I think they're adding like almost every course that's ever been in any Mario Kart game ever, in one form or another.
Yeah, like, it's not literally everything, but it's close enough.
They even added stuff from the mobile title.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
So they're adding straight up like France and Tokyo and like Paris and Tokyo levels, which is pretty damn cool. Like, especially considering mobile games are not everybody's cup of tea, especially ours. So like the only chance we would get a chance to play those particular levels would have been to play the mobile game, and I didn't have any interest in doing that, but I will certainly play them in a real Mario Kart game. So this is amazing. And not only that, but you can get this DLC as part of an inclusion to your your online expansion pass plus. Like, if you already have that, which I do, like, I don't have to pay a dime for it, which is really pretty darn awesome. This is not a trivial DLC. This is like you said, this is like multiple games worth of content.
Yeah, this is like doubling the game.
And it was already the best Mario Kart game ever made by almost everybody's opinion.
Well, what's really crazy, it was already the best version of the best game.
Yeah.
And now it's a better best version.
The only thing holding the Wii U version back, a lot of people just said, was the battle mode, and they fixed that right away at the beginning when they launched it on the Switch. And now they just made this game better and better and better. I don't know how they can make it any better. Honestly, they they included like the only thing they could do
Include
is come
Cloud
out
on
with
his motorcycle.
What's that?
Include Cloud on his motorcycle.
How about Uniracers?
Why don't they add Iggy's wrecking balls?
Kirby add Kirby's air ride mode. I don't know.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, like this is insane. Like this is kind of like what they did with like Smash Brothers. Like they just pumped it full of everything they could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Which is refreshing. Like you never really see that kind of thing. Like a game company going to the nines on something, like especially on a game that's been out since the system launched.
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, it was a launch window game. It wasn't.
Yeah,
like
it was like
game.
a rescued previous gen title, and now it's like the standout game.
I think it's also one of the best selling video games of all time.
Well, people have been hankering for new Mario Kart since the Wii, because no one had a Wii U.
Yeah, it's true. It's like basically me and you are the only people that I know of that still talk about the Wii U, and even we're like starting to like lose our patience in.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like my Wii U is it's a Wii with HDMI out basically.
Yeah,
I have a few games on it that like I can't play anywhere else, but
Devil's
not many.
Third, baby.
What was it?
Devil's Third, baby.
Devil's Third and Xenoblade Chronicles X, I guess.
Yeah, but like even Fatal Frame escaped it somehow.
Yeah, like the Wii U version is worth holding on to for the Nintendo costumes, although I don't know what the situation is with the Switch version. If they kept the Nintendo costumes or if they went back to the lingerie stuff, I don't know.
But I would rather have the PS4 version of that anyway, just because of the frame rate and all that.
Yeah, I got that.
But I think they did physical versions of that in the Asian territories for the English version, so I'm thinking about picking up one of those. But,
yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah, like doing the Play Asia thing, but yeah, I can't believe what they've done here. I can't think of too many like first party Nintendo games for the Wii other than Xenoblade Chronicles X, Star Fox Zero and Paper Mario, right? That's about the
yeah. We're running low.
Yeah, there's really not. There's Game and Wario, that's never gonna get ported.
Well, yeah, there are some games you literally
Nintendo
cannot
Land.
port. I was gonna mention Nintendo Land first. Yeah.
Nintendo Land was more of kind of like it was like 1-2 switch of its era. It was this is what we could do with the system. But yeah,
actually, wasn't there? This might be included in the new Wii Sports thing. Well, that's true, Rainbow Curse. But this might be included with the new Wii Sports pack. But wasn't there like a Wii U Wii Sports?
So they split it up back then. So what they did was they were like, hey, you could buy bowling by itself.
Okay.
But like it was still bare bones. It wasn't like
Okay.
I think they might have added a little bit to each of the modes, like golfing and all that, but I think that bowling was the standout for that.
You know what they don't have is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze without new funky mode.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean,
actually, you know what they can do for real, even though it's kind of corny.
Yoshi's Woolly World. That's on the 3DS, but it's
whatever. That's the one I want to play, the 3DS version. But no, like I was gonna mention the Wii U quirk versions of like Arkham City with like the weird electro gloves. It's like what is that?
I remember that. But yeah, this is really amazing stuff. So this was a really exciting Nintendo Direct. I mean, we pretty much covered everything that was worth talking about. I'm really excited for everything that, like, a lot of the stuff that's going to be in here. Like, this is good stuff. Having said that, anything else that you want to add to this first?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, we're gonna wrap things up, and then we'll talk about all of the normal reactive consciousness stuff on Thursday then. But so we'll just do our outro. That's our show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us our thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. Man, my script reading today is just not there. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the anatomy of pop culture. And finally, you can find me as vysethebold on pretty much anything.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, guess what? I'm starting the Dark Pictures anthology, House of Ashes.
Nice.
So if you want to see that early, with me and Mr. Ryu, getting in on exclusive live streams. I'm about to wrap up Soul Blazer, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at Poundtreon. That's what the site's called, Poundtreon. Patreon.com/LotusPrince.
Even you're having trouble tonight.
No, I got it right. It was Poundtreon. I'm just going to save that from now on.
I've always been right. All right. Well, we'll catch everybody again on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.